How's it going everyone? I'm Zfiles and today I'm going to be showing you the top 5 best creature and dinosaur overhaul mods in Ark Survival Evolved. So coming in number 5 is Dragonpunk Mythical Creatures. This mod adds 18 mythical creatures and 2 bosses. There's the Cockatrice, the Chimera, the Ripper Dog, the Werewolf, the Hydra, the Giant Crab, the Griffin, which I think came out before the Ark Ragnarok Griffin, and that's probably why it looks pretty bad in my opinion. Then there's 3 golems, the rock, fire and ice golems, the tree ant, the barghest, the cyclops, the wyvern, the mountain dragon, the ogre, the dragon rex and the phoenix. And the 2 bosses are the Cerberus, which I think might be the easier boss, and then there's the Kraken, which I think is the harder boss. Coming in number 4 is Gaia. Gaia so far adds around 240 dinos across 9 main tiers, 31 custom structures and 257 items, resources and equipment. The 9 main creature tiers are the banished creatures, which will come out from the banished structures. Then there's the Pavilionius creatures, which are good to tame early game because they have 10 times weight. Then we have the dreadful creatures, so they have all of their base stats doubled compared to their vanilla counterparts, except for their movement speed is only plus 20%. All these creatures can also jump. The dreadful creatures are aggressive, except for a couple which only get mad if you touch them. The divine creatures are basically the same as dreadful creatures, except they have ×2 harvest, and they use divine fire instead of dreadful fire, and they are only neutral, so you can get close to most of them, but some of them, if you get too close to it, then they'll start attacking you. Next we have the demonic creatures, so these have plus 40% movement speed, ×4 health, ×4 damage, and they can jump. They are aggressive and are immune to dreadful fire. Now we have the heavenly creatures. These are the same as demonic creatures, except they also have ×4 harvest, and instead of being aggressive they are neutral. They are also immune to divine fire instead of dreadful fire. Now we have the ghastly creatures. These creatures can't be tamed and have ×4 health, ×4 damage, 2 times stamina and 2 times speed, and their attacks apply torpor and stamina drain. They are neutral and will not be attacked by any wild creatures. Next we have the elemental creatures. They can all be tamed except for the ghastly alphas. There's 5 elemental classes. There's the electric creatures, the frost creatures, the enlightened creatures, the cursed creatures, and then there's the untamable ghastly alphas. Next up we have the 7 guardian creatures, which are all kind of like mini bosses. They are untamable and super strong, and they also spawn in the wild, so you don't have to summon them in or anything. And lastly there's the bosses that you can summon through the Gaia portal. There's still also some creatures that I haven't covered in this video, and if you want to see those, you can find them once you install Gaia yourself. Coming in number 3 is Primal Fear. Primal Fear adds over 200 creatures, and there are 9 tameable classes in order from best to least. It's kind of like a tier system. So first there's the toxic creatures, then there's the alpha creatures, then the apex creatures, then there's the elemental creatures, which have 6 creature classes on their own. There's the caustic, the electric, the fire, the ice, the dark and light creatures. Then there's the fabled creatures, the celestial creatures, the demonic creatures. The ones that I didn't put in with this tier system are the buffoon and elder creatures. There was also 3 boss classes, the primal creatures, the origin creatures, and then there's the final boss. This mod also adds lots of new weapons, armor, food, and items to help handle the Primal Fear creatures. This mod even has 4 expansion mods to it, for if you want even more creatures. There's the boss expansion, the Scorched Earth expansion, the Aberration expansion, and then there's the Noxious Creatures expansion. Coming in number 2 is Extinction Core. This mod adds tons of creatures and NPCs, which is what this mod is famous for. The first group of creatures in this mod are the Prime creatures. This class is just basically all the small creatures in Ark, but the bigger versions of them, so that you can ride them. So for example, you can ride on the Archaeopteryx now. The second group of creatures are the Alphas. There was tons of Alpha creatures. It's like more than half of the Ark creatures have Alpha versions. The next class is the Skeletal. There's not that many of them, there's only around 10. Then there's the apex creatures, the apex raptor, the apex carno, the apex rex, and the apex giga. There's 8 primal tech creatures, there's 9 scion creatures, 3 scions of nature, the Bigfoot, the dibear, and the terrorbird, the 3 scions of winter, the mammoth, the calico, and the rhino. Then there's the 3 scions of fire, the RG, the wolf, and the saber. Then there's the 6 bosses which are tameable, the brood mother, the dodo rex, the dodo wyvern, the dragon, the gorilla, and the manticore. 3 primordial creatures, Salitha, who's like a brood mother, Paquito, who's like a megapithecus, and Nephilim, who's like a dragon. 3 omega creatures, the brood mother, the megapithecus, and the dragon. 3 world bosses, Janguru, who's like a nature Bigfoot, Nivalis, who looks like a wintry mammoth, and Maguma, which looks like a fiery rock golem. And now onto the NPCs. There's 9 tribes made up of the NPC people: the yellow tribe, the green tribe, the cyan tribe, the brown tribe, the red tribe, the purple tribe, the orange tribe, the blue tribe, and the black tribe. Each tribe has their own members with different weapons, alpha NPCs, and chieftains. These NPCs will spawn and roam around the world like other wild creatures. Coming in number 1 is the Jurassic Park expansion mod. This mod adds creatures from the Jurassic Park movies and the Jurassic Park games, including the Jurassic Park versions of some vanilla dinos, for example the Trikes, the Raptors, and the Parasaurs. So far there is around 70 land dinos, 7 water dinos, 9 amphibious creatures, 3 flyers, and 10 bosses. Now I'll just show you a few of the creatures that are on the mod page. So there's the Ultimasaurus, the Spino, the Dillo, the goat, which is like food for the other creatures, if you remember that from the movie, the Indominus Rex, and the Pteranodon. This thing is really cool because when it's in the wild, the Pteranodon will pick you up, fly super high, and then drop you, so that you die of fall damage. And the last thing I'll show you is the Rex. If you guys want to download any of these mods, there'll be all the links in the description below. And if you guys enjoyed or found the video helpful, liking the video and subscribing to the channel really helps me out. And I'll see you guys in the next one.